Find out what's making you sick and how to heal. Anthony William is the medical medium.
Hello, I'm Anthony William, and you're listening to the Medical Medium Radio Show, where each week I talk about the most advanced healing information and secrets about health, much of which is not found anywhere else and is decades ahead of what's out there now. As I've always said, who has 10 years or 20 years to wait for answers to their chronic illnesses, to why they have rashes, to why they have aches and pains, to why they have migraines, to why they're constipated, to why they got all kinds of problems, why their knees hurt, why they have edema, why they have swelling, why they have hot flashes, why they have hair loss, eye problems, floaters in the eyes, tingles and numbness. You know, everything. I said aches and pains, and then all kinds of other stuff, neuralgia, tingles and burning pain and prickly pain, to, oh my God, back pain, neck pain, it goes on, shoulder pain, bursitis, everything under the sun we talk about on this radio show. You name it, it's here, because we don't have 10 years to wait for answers for any of this stuff. We could keep on going. I mean, there's fibromyalgia, there's chronic fatigue syndrome, there's Hashimoto's thyroiditis, there's everything. And you name it, and we got it here. We got it here. Hopefully everybody out there, you guys, hopefully you're not dealing with all of this. And I know a lot of you do suffer. And I know a lot of you do have all kinds of different conditions and were diagnosed with different kinds of diagnoses and then ended up at the Lyme doctor, and then out of the Lyme doctor to somewhere else. I know you guys been through it all. And the bottom line is I stand behind you. I believe in you, and I'm so sorry you had to deal with any of this. Let's heal together. Let's move forward. Let's get the right information. Let's get what we need. And so today we're talking about the healing power of vegetables. The healing power of vegetables. We always hear about vegetables. We always hear about eating our vegetables. We always hear about how important they are. We always think about them consciously, whether or not we eat enough of them or not. So today we're covering the ins and outs about them, the power of them, you name it. I'm pulling some of the information straight out of my Life-Changing Foods book. The one I'm so excited for you guys to get in your hands soon and open up, and just you'll be in shock. It's really cool. Spirit gave me tremendous amounts of information that I put in this massive catalog, So this is going to be really exciting. So, and I'm pulling some of that out for today because I want to talk about the power of these vegetables and what they have to offer. Think about the LA event, if you're going or not. Tickets are selling, so think about it. We're doing the Light Blast. Ever since I was a child, Spirit offered that opportunity for me to give to people because I saw so much suffering all the time, nonstop, no matter where I went, no matter what I did. And the gift that I received at age 4 to diagnose my grandmother came with a lot of hardship, and I know some of you guys know that about me. If you just logged on, and this is brand new, the Medical Medium Show is brand new to you, and this is your first show, this will kind of fill you in a little bit about it. I diagnosed my grandmother at age 4 by hearing a voice perfectly clear, as if someone was talking to me in my ear. So it's on the outside of the body. I'm not channeling, and it's not intuition, although I have tremendous respect for intuitives because they have to work so darn hard on mastering their intuition. I know that the audience that's listening to right now, all you guys are intuitive too and everything else, but it wasn't intuition. It was actually hearing a voice perfectly clear, so in real time, just like you're hearing me right now with your own ear. And it came with a lot of pain, a lot of suffering in its own right, and a lot of agony. And I was able to get through my teenage years without basically ending my life because of the severity of how difficult it was to live in the world today and hearing a voice 24/7 telling me what's going on with every aspect of someone's health. And so, but with that, I saw a lot of suffering nonstop, like I always have, and I do, the readings come through no matter what at all times. It makes me go partially blind. I know that many of you who have read the book, you've seen that. It's like a snow blindness, I call it, And so what happened, though, is I asked Spirit at a young age. I said, what else can I do for people? First of all, there weren't a lot of resources back then. I'm not trying to date myself and everything, but if we go all the way back down to that place in time, you couldn't get anything. I mean, there were a few fruits and vegetables at best in the grocery store, depending on where you lived in the country. Not everybody lived in California, in Los Angeles, where there was the first health food store in the United States. Not everybody had that opportunity. Okay, so and because of that, resources were low. There weren't a lot of supplements that were discovered or created by geniuses that we have today in alternative medicine, and there wasn't a lot of that going on. In fact, there was virtually none of that going on. And so I would ask Spirit, what else can I do to ignite the healing process? And Spirit said, we're going to do the light blast on each person if you want. And at that time, I asked for that help, and Spirit sent the light down on the person that I would ask for the light to hit and run right through the body, unlock blockages, completely change their chemistry on all levels, and give them that ignition. We do that at the events. It drains the heck out of me, but that's okay. Doesn't matter if my assistants have to actually scrape me off the floor after we're done. It doesn't matter, because guess what? It's so miraculous, and what has happened from these light blasts has just been so great. Just in the last event alone, over 600 people reported experiencing a benefit to their health in one way or another. So anyway, the bottom line is that's how it all happened. That's what's happening. You can get to the LA event November 5th if you want. Go to medicalmedium.com, check it out. I'd love to see you there before the tickets get sold out. It's basically like this when it comes down to healing. There's different levels of healing in the sense where we need different things. So we need different things. And the Life Changing Foods book, I made it clear in that book about what we're looking at as far as what is hindering us all. I'm releasing the truth about what's in our way, because no one wants to hear it. Not you guys. You guys want to hear it. You guys want to know the truth. You guys want to know how to protect your children. You guys want to know how to protect your family. You want to know how to protect, yourself and your loved ones and your friends, But there's a lot of people out there that they don't want to know. They don't want to know, what's really holding them back. Because it could be a little scary. In the Life Changing Foods, I talk about the unforgiving four. The unforgiving four are these things out there that you need to be aware of and look out for, so you can protect yourself, because you want that insurance. You want that knowing, that information and that knowing. And so that's what that's about. So there's a lot of things. It's one thing that we need. That's one part of the puzzle that we need to heal. And then there's other parts, like what I call the Holy Four. Holy Four are the food groups. The food groups like the vegetables, the fruits, the vegetables, herbs and spices, and wild foods. And today we're covering a part of that Holy Four. We're covering the vegetables part. And, and how I laid it out in the book is if you look at what's happening and look what the vegetables can do, and you line up your illnesses, there's over 700 illnesses I have and conditions I have in this book. And I link these to what can help you get over these things through these fruits and vegetables. It was a daunting, grueling task with Spirit, but it had to get done. And so we're going over vegetables today. Now, when it comes down to vegetables and stuff, so you've heard it since you were young, right? Eat your vegetables. And hey, not everybody heard that when they were young. And, it's not anybody's fault. There's some mommy and daddies that they get so busy and they have so much on their plate and so much stress that they can barely just get a Happy Meal from McDonald's in their children and some chicken fingers out of the freezer to survive. And I have complete and total respect for that. You have to understand that. That's a big deal. Just, making sure there's food on the table for your family as it is and everything around it. And children have minds of their own. Minds of their own, okay? They're the little people. So they have their own palate. They have their own tastes. They have their own likings. And, and a lot of times children don't like vegetables and don't want to eat a vegetable. And a lot of times parents are so busy that working with coaching our children's really difficult sometimes when we're trying to survive, we're trying to work, we're trying to make sure there's everything else in place so we can protect our children. So we kind of, the food thing gets put on the back burner a lot with families. And as long as there's food on the table, though, that's all that matters. When I was growing up, and that was the only thing that counted was there something to eat, for us kids? Was there something to eat on that table? Regardless of what it was, we had to be eating something. And, and it makes a lot of sense. But there's a lot of people that I've talked to, and they're like, yeah, when I was younger, I was always told to eat my vegetables. I was always told, you got to eat them. You're not. And then I've had people tell me, you can't leave the table until you eat your vegetables, when they were a child. And their parents would say, you're not leaving the table. There'd be punishment. You wouldn't be able to leave the table. You'd have to be sent to your room. Like all kinds of things I've heard from people because, vegetables are important. And so, our parents have tried to get some vegetables in us, in many of us in our lives. And like I said before, other times it's just survival and whatever we can get to eat. But vegetables have always been a role in humanity, in the future of humankind, in our survival, in what we need to survive here. Because they hold keys. They hold keys to the door of health, the door of well-being, the door of life-giving, the door of fertility. And by the way, there's a fertility chapter in Life-Changing Foods. It's going to knock your socks off. And information about fertility and infertility you can't find anywhere. And I'm not just trying to say that in a boasting way. I'm just meaning it knocked my socks off when I got the information from Spirit. I was blown away. But, all this, vegetables play a role in all of this, you guys. Folks, it plays a big role in opening up the door to life-giving, to our future, to where we're going, to what we're doing. Everything, our consciousness, everything about it, it's involved with a vegetable. It's a big piece of that. And so it's one of these holy four, I call them. Holy four. It's one of these that's crucial and critical to our well-being, to our life, to where we're going, to what we're doing, just like I said before. And it matters that much to get them into us. And what's really important in the vegetable department is leafy greens, which I'm going to cover a little bit about what leafy greens do. But leafy greens they're practically almost a category of the holy four on their own, even though they're in the vegetables. But they hold a lot of power. And we tend to forget about leafy greens a lot. Even if we're eating a really healthy paleo diet, we tend to forget about eating a lot of leafy greens. If we're eating, a vegetarian diet, we forget about eating a lot of leafy greens. If we're eating a plant-based or vegan diet, which is pretty much the same, we forget about eating a lot of leafy greens. It's easy to forget or to not get enough leafy greens in our system, no matter what diet you subscribe to. And, I don't care what diet it is, really. I mean, in the sense that you're into. If you're really into a paleo diet, which is basically now almost a vegan diet with just a little bit of lean meat, because that's we're learning to get people better. It's more vegetables. That's where we're going. Everybody's going that direction. It's more vegetables and more fruit to get people better, by the way. So, but whatever it is, if you're on a, paleo diet, if you're on a ketogenic diet, if you're on an Atkins diet, if you're on some branding diet like that, if you're on, a diet that has a branding name, whatever it is, you have to bring in more leafy greens. If you're on a Mediterranean diet, you're just eating all this fish. And if you're on a wild game diet, you're just eating all this wild game. Someone was talking to me the other day and said, I hunt my own game. I hunt and kill my own rabbits. I, hunt deer and stuff. And first of all, yeah, it's the healthiest food you could possibly eat in the animal kingdom, as far as in the animal world. If you're into meat, or you're into you're into the paleo diet, then wild game is by far the healthiest for you. But I said to the person, are you eating enough greens? And maybe even wild greens, and maybe even greens that are cousins to wild greens that you could buy in the store. And they were like, well, no, I wasn't thinking about that. I was thinking about just protein, and I was thinking about just getting the leanest, good, fresh, leanest, freshest meat I can get. And so I was just, doing the hunting the game thing and everything. I said, you know what? First of all, sure, that's one aspect. Like, people do grass-fed meat because it's closer to that area. Grass-fed, it's out, it's the free range, it's, pasture raised. Yeah, the cows are out there eating grass. So if you're into meat, that's the kind to get. There's no doubt. You don't want that garbage factory meat that's just filled with, GMO corn and GMO soy, and the conditions are unbearable. You want the grass-fed beef. We know that if you're into meat. Same thing with chickens. Same thing with turkeys. You want it all free range. You want it cage free. You want all of that, and hopefully even grass, free pasture raised. And so the chickens and the turkeys can eat little bits of seeds and stuff that are naturally in the wild, and grass seeds and everything else that they pluck out of the ground, and bugs and insects, because you want that wild attachment to it. But what about the greens? The greens have to be there, no matter what you like. I was talking to another person, they're like, I only like fish. It's everything from the ocean is what I like. Well, I said, you better not be doing the tuna. You better not be doing the tuna. No tuna for you. They're like, well, I love tuna. I do, I go out and get sushi, and I do the tuna. That's what the person will say to, said to me. And I said, well, okay, sure. You like the tuna. Okay, fine. Well, you better then be eating a lot of greens, and preferably herbal greens like cilantro and parsley, to bind onto all that excess mercury you're leaving in your intestinal tract, colon, and liver from that tuna. And they're like, I've never thought about that. I don't really eat many greens. I'm worried about my protein. So everybody's worried about protein, and they're not eating any greens. Do you guys get what I'm going there? Do you see what I'm saying? Do you see what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Because where's the most powerful protein there is on the planet that actually does do a lot for the human body? Where does that lie? It lies in greens. It's in spinach. It's in kale. It's in parsley. It's in barley grass. I like the barley grass. She's better. It's in all of that. That's where those micro proteins, they're assimilatable. They absorb, they break down, they do things. They got amino acids attached to them actively, bioactively. So you want those proteins. So I tell people, look, okay, sure, you're getting a lot of protein from fish. Okay, I'm with you. I'm not, fighting you on that. But where's your bioidentical protein? And they're like, what are you talking about? I go, from the greens, and so if you want to do fish, make sure you do a salad with that fish. You want to do tuna, you better have that tuna on top of a big salad. So if you guys like tuna, regardless of the mercury, I'll stand behind you, but put it in a big salad. If you guys like grass-fed beef because you guys are into that kind of diet, I stand behind you. Let's make sure we have a nice salad of leafy greens going on there. You guys are into wild game, like I run into, a few people here and there. It's just everything is wild turkey, whatever they can find. Then, wild pheasants, they order them, they ship them, they ship frozen or something now. You can get wild pheasants. Then where's your greens, though? Where's your greens? Because that's what the pheasants were eating. Where's your greens? You've got, that has to be in the mix, the bioidentical proteins that will actually help the animal proteins work better for you. So the protein in the fish is going to work better for you when you actually have your greens. The protein in the wild turkey, it's going to work for you when you have your greens. The protein in the wild game or whatever, the grass-fed beef, you name it, it's going to work better for you. And then if you're a vegan or a vegetarian, I tell vegans and vegetarians all the time, you better be eating a lot of greens. They better be there. You can't not have them in there. You know? I mean, fruits are critical in our life. I don't care who's eating what diet. You got to get some fruit in there if you want longevity because of antioxidants. You don't want your brain to rot and oxidize. You better be eating fruit. It's not about a belief system. It's not about sugar, no sugar, fruit's bad, fruit's not bad. No, it's about longevity, and it's about making sure your butt makes it all the way to the end, and that's going to happen from antioxidants and fruits. But greens have mineral salts in them. Critical ones, and critical proteins. They do. Critical proteins and mineral salts. So I tell vegans and vegetarians, you better be eating your leafy greens. I want a spinach salad going on. I want a spinach smoothie. Throw some tomatoes in a blender with 1 to 2 bunches of spinach, okay, or a container of spinach. Shove it in that, Vitamix or whatever you like using. Throw in 3 or 4 good-sized tomatoes, 1 celery stick, a little handful of cilantro, 1 clove of garlic. And if you like garlic, a squeeze of an orange. Get some orange juice squeezed fresh from an orange in there, and blend it up. Grind that baby up, and you got yourself a living, fresh spinach soup. If you're into living foods, if you're a vegan, if you're plant-based, then that's what you need right there. That has to be in between everything else you're eating. And if you're into animal products, then get that spinach salad going. Now, don't grill that spinach. Don't grill it. Don't throw it in a pot and steam it up. No, but have a spinach salad if you want some grass-fed beef. Make sure you're doing enough spinach salad. Get the greens. So it's about making sure you're getting something no matter what that you're supposed to get that's helping you. No matter what diet you choose for your health or what diet you've been pushed into, from, something out there, some kind of pseudoscience telling you why you need to eat a certain way, or some kind of, prehistoric science that really is just isn't just accurate. So whatever it is that's going on, just make sure the greens are in there. Bottom line. Whether you're vegan, whether you're paleo, whether you're whatever, whether you're whatever brand you're doing, Mediterranean, whether you're doing Atkins, whatever you're doing. So the deal is make sure the greens are in there. So, okay, well, glad we covered that. We're going to cover a lot of things. Now, there's a big confusion out there about the brain. And we're going to do a brain show. That is coming up. But there's a big confusion about the brain. And I want to make sure we clear it up here. We clear it up now because it's important. Now, if I say, what's your brain made out of? What are you guys going to say? What are you guys going to think? All right? So what's your brain made out of? What are you thinking? Are you thinking what it's made out of? my first thing to say would be it's made out of brain. But I'm just being silly. That's just me always being silly. But what do you guys think it's made out of? Well, there's a lot of trends and fads right now that have pretty much telling us, no, your brain is made out of fat. Not N-O-T. Not. Okay? The brain's not made out of fat. It's not. The brain's made out of glycogen storage. Glycogen storage. Okay? That's what it's made out of. It's made out of stored carbohydrates. That's what it's made out of. It melts in your mouth if someone eats it. It's sweet, and it's like basically a brown rice pasta. If you guys ever eaten a brown rice pasta, now I haven't eaten brain, but I'm telling you right now, a lot of people eat brains out there. They eat sheep's brains and lamb brains and all kinds of different animal brains out there. Cow brains. There's cow brains in supplements. Don't take those. Don't take those supplements. By the way, don't take any supplements with any animal parts in them, because it's always questionable about where those animal parts came from, because supplement companies have to chintz every penny and every dime in order to survive, and I just never trust where sources lie. But the point is that people eat brain out there. They do. all across the world in different places. I've heard from many accounts. I've even had a friend that tried brain when they were traveling. And it was sweet. Sweet is what it was. Okay? It was like not candy sweet, carbohydrate sweet. And science already knew. This is what I love about science. Science can be twisted in every way, in every angle, in any direction, for any reason, for anybody's purpose, at any time. And that's why Spirit and I kind of back away from science. And I always say Spirit trumps science. And because it's about results and about truth. And it's about truth, and it's not about propaganda, and it's not about interest groups. Spirit is above that. But the point is that the brain was discovered. It's glycogen. That was a correct discovery. And then it flipped later on, like just recently with fads and trends where we're now convinced that it's made out of fat. Now, it's not made out of fat. There are traces of omega-3s plus traces of other rare oils in the brain. Rare oils and fats. Traces only. And those traces come from hemp seeds, walnuts. They come from butterleaf lettuce. They come from blackberries. They come from wild blueberries, traces of omega-3s in them, and other rare omegas. And I'm not just even talking about 3, 6s, and 9s. I'm talking about rare, not even identified yet. Groups of omegas, not non-identified. That's what's cool about the Life Changing Foods book, is I just love going into this stuff, by the way. So basically, that's in the brain, but it only accounts for a tiny percentage of the brain. The rest of it is salt, okay? Salt and sugar. The brain's made out of sugar, but it's made out of a carbohydrate, polysaccharide. It's made out of glycogen. Glycogen, a polysaccharide, a starch, a carbohydrate, a starch. I'm just trying to get this point across because we need to know what the brain's made out of, because when you're dealing with vegetables, one of the holy four, when you're dealing with vegetables, you got to know what you're dealing with, and you're dealing with precious, vital mineral salts. Mineral salts for neurotransmitter chemicals. Actually, to create neurotransmitter chemicals, to be a neurotransmitter chemicals, and amino acids. Precious, life-giving amino acids are in vegetables, the ones that go to the brain and charge up charge up electrolytes, charge up electrical impulses, fire up glial cells. So this is serious stuff. This is vegetables. So, I was telling you, well, you got to eat your vegetables. When you're told as a child it's important to eat your vegetables, but why? This is why. Because if you don't eat your vegetables, you won't have the conductor for the brain, which is part of the electricity, which is all the precious vital mineral salts. And if you don't eat fruits or starchy vegetables, or vegetables that have carbohydrates in them, if you don't eat those, you won't have a glycogen storage, a glucose storage in the brain, a sugar storage in the brain that gives you a brain, because your brain's made out of that. I don't care what book comes around the corner tomorrow. I don't care what concept. I don't care what person, expert, says, oh, no, the brain's made out of fat. You got to keep away from your sugar. You know what's going to happen? Your brain is going to shrink. Your brain shrinks and shrivels up without glycogen, which is carbohydrates, which is out glucose, and then without the conductor, the mineral salts. That's a fact, Jack. So when you're getting pushed around in the diet world and the food worlds, you better be, thinking about these things. Because it's all about watching your back. It's all about being on your side, And it's not about anything else. It's not about selling a product. It's not about selling a product. I don't have 50,000 products to sell you because, I'm telling you that the brain's made out of fat. It's not that at all. It's about what's going to help you, your family, your children, your grandchildren, your grandparents, your parents. It's just about we got to do this together. So let's talk about some vegetables. Let's talk about it. Vegetables provide these mineral salts. They provide these critical things that actually give us life. It gives us a brain. Our brain is made out of literally these mineral salts and then carbohydrate. That's what our brain is made out of. How do you like that? How do you like them apples? So let's go into some of these because it's really important to go into some of these. Talk about the leafy greens. What can leafy greens do for us? What can they help? They can totally help acidosis, right? When our body systems become so acidic that disease state happens and occurs. That means that any viruses, bacteria, pathogens in you, they want to take over. They got a better opportunity to take over if you're really acidic. If you're eating, just no vegetables and no fruit, and you get really acidic. So any kind of heartburn, it prevents heartburn. It may not fix it on the spot right when you eat your first leaf of lettuce, but it's going to help it in a long time not occur. Okay, iron deficiencies, especially due by viruses like Epstein-Barr creates the iron deficiencies out there. So you got lettuces to help that, like lettuces and leafy greens. Could have butter leaf lettuce, romaine leaf lettuce, red leaf lettuce. Someone told me recently, they said, well, I only like red leaf lettuce. I said, you know what? I'm with you. Let's do it. Let's do it. Just red leaf lettuce. Just every day have some red leaf lettuce. And, and if that's the one you like, that's the one you like. I'm not a big iceberg fan. I'm not a big iceberg lettuce fan, okay? I remember being a kid when Spirit was telling me in a grocery store, I don't know, you guys might know the story, but, I used to work in a grocery store when I was 14 years old. And I was stocking shelves, and I just needed something to do to take my mind off of Spirit. But of course, Spirit would actually, tell every single shopper that was there in the store pushing their cart by. Spirit would tell me what was going on with their health, what they needed for food, and that's where I built up my first clientele at age 14. So I'd go around the store. Even the owner of the store was a client of mine. The owner of the store, and it was a big grocery store. And he became a client of mine because it was inconceivable of how I would know he had gout. Because of Spirit, of course. Anyway, the whole thing is that iceberg lettuce was like the only thing on the shelf back then, practically. I'm serious. It was, depending on where you were. Like I said, if you were in California, that would be an exception. Everywhere else in the United States, it was iceberg lettuce. And I hated it. Because it was iceberg lettuce. Because Spirit would say, well, there's not a lot in here. And it was conventional iceberg lettuce. And Spirit would tell me, there's not a lot in here. But Spirit said to me, you wait and see what happens down the road. All right, so you want to get your different romaine lettuce, red leaf lettuce, green leaf, get the mesclun mix with all the different little mixes. They even have the radicchio. They have all these different things, mosh, you name it, get what you can, spinach, any leafy greens you can. They help with mineral deficiencies, trace mineral deficiencies, swelling, fluid retention, edema, inflamed liver. Everybody's liver is getting inflamed in this day and age. You need the leafy greens. Food allergies, starts to knock down food allergies. Spasms and cramps because of the mineral salts have traces of magnesium that are even better than magnesium supplements. How do you like that? How do you like them bananas? Or how do you like them leafy greens, huh? Instead of them apples. All right, helps with weight gain because it helps clean up the liver. Any kind of menopause symptoms, premenstrual symptoms, PMS, hormonal imbalances, lettuces help because they help clean up the liver, which is causing a lot of the problem. They help knock down Epstein-Barr, which is causing a lot of these symptoms in women and being completely overlooked. We talk about that. Stops calcifications in the breast. There's so many calcifications in women's breasts. It's there all the time. No matter where I go, Spirit's telling me, okay, calcification in the breast, nodule on the thyroid, calcification on the kidney, calcification in the lower back, calcification in the joints. The calcifications are just out of control. This is all the power of leafy greens. Leafy greens hold great power. And it's actually an incredible experience to bring these into your life. So there's something that I really love. Another vegetable, radishes. Radishes. Who's eating radishes? Are you guys eating any radishes? Did you know when you have your salad and you have a slice of radish on top, that radish is probably one of the most powerful things on top of that salad? I mean, even with all those leafy greens around, the radish is a medicine. It's a different kind of medicine. It's like having a pill that you think is, really valuable in the pharmaceutical world. That's a medicine. It's like having that pill sitting on top of your salad, So anyway, the radish is even more powerful than that, of course. So radishes are like a little miracle. The greens on top are practically a wild food. So when you shop for radishes at the farmer's market right now or wherever you go, and farmer's markets are loaded with radishes right now, at least North America, wherever, they're just loaded with radishes. And, grab radishes where you got the greens attached, where you can chop up the greens, throw them into your salad, and then you got the leafy greens again. Put another powerful one. But then you chop up the radishes, you put those in your salads, put radish in your guacamole, whatever you can do. Chop up radishes, have a salad with your grass-fed beef, whatever you want, but you have to have the radishes in there at this time of year. Just one. Bring in one. What I like about radishes, an amazing cancer preventer. Amazing for a lot of cancers. Radishes help with asthma, people with lung problems. That's what I love too. Pneumonia, people who chronically get pneumonia. Radishes are amazing for. They're amazing for like simplexes, simplex 1, simplex 2, so the herpes family. If you're worried about any kind of skin cancers, make sure you get because there's skin cancer in your family or someone has it and you're worried, just make sure you're bringing radishes in. I like radishes for ALS. Radishes do an amazing job. They do a powerful job, really profound way of healing occurs for people with ALS. I put this because of Spirit's orders. I put this one guy on with ALS, put him on with ALS symptoms and the whole bit. We know that's a diagnosis doctors still don't understand, but he was given a diagnosis of ALS. And he really had a severe neurological condition. And that's unknown to medical research and medical science. But Spirit knew he had to eat 8 radishes every single day. 8 radishes daily. And he improved 50% when the only other way he was going was opposite and fast. And he improved 50%. He got out of his wheelchair because of radishes. So that's the power of radishes. We've got to keep that in mind. Symptoms. If you have all kinds of different symptoms, if you have high blood pressure, radishes help with the liver. Food sensitivities, inflammation, random inflammation that we talk about of what causes it, but just inflammation in general. Radishes tend to be an anti-inflammatory, like a medicine, like a pill, like an anti-inflammatory pill. They are like a medicine. And congestion, cough, dark circles under the eyes because you get toxicity, blood toxicity. Radishes are amazing. What I like about radishes is that they help emotionally. Nobody knows this. This is info being pulled out of life-changing foods right now for you guys. And it's this book's packed with this. This is just a fraction. This isn't even a 0.0001%. And what I like about radishes is the emotional support Spirit told me about. When failing is a word in your life, when fail is a key word of how you're feeling, when we feel like we're failures, we wake up. Even I wake up once in a while. If I feel like I can't save the world and all at once, I wake up in the morning and I want to kick myself in the butt and feel like I'm failing because I'm only reaching so many when, and that's another reason why I love you guys, because you're helping people. So I feel like the reach is getting bigger and better because you're taking the information further and helping others wherever you can, your family ones, loved ones, and everything. And that makes me feel less of a failure. So thank you. But when failure's like in your system, when you're feeling that way in life, and you think that, you failed something or whatever, just don't fall into that It's a bad place to fall into. First of all, it's not true. We're not failures. Second of all, bring radishes in, and it changes the mindset. Emotionally changes the mindset, I'm telling you right now. Cruciferous vegetables, kale, broccoli, cauliflower, the whole gang, all of them. Broccoli rabe, collard greens, of course, like I was saying, kale, collard, all of it. Is Brussels sprouts, that's another one. These are amazing foods, incredible foods. So keep these in your life. And the conditions they help is also, there's a whole bunch of varieties of conditions that they help. They help with acne, with knocking down strep that we talk about. They help with diabetes. They help with Hashimoto's thyroiditis. Cruciferous vegetables actually stop Hashimoto, so don't fall into that whole mistake, that trend of goitrogenic being a problem. If you're new to my information and you just logged on to this first time, learn about it, read about it, or listen to what I've talked about before, and because don't fall into that goitrogenic mistake that's out there. Terrible, because it's not true. There's phytochemicals undiscovered in these vegetables that stop those goitrogenic properties from being a problem and stop thyroid issues. Because first of all, you need to know what's wrong with the thyroid to even know how to treat it or how to address it. And apparently medical research and medical science, both alternatively and conventionally, doesn't know yet, up until I brought it to the table, that Epstein-Barr causes Hashimoto's. And to kill off Epstein-Barr, you need certain things. Cruciferous vegetables are one of them. So you keep the kale in there, keep the collards in there, you keep all of that going on. I like the emotional support of these vegetables. That's what I like. They're really amazing. Like for instance, okay, if you know anybody that's baffled all the time, or bewildered, or befuddled, or just confused, if you know somebody that's struggling with that, and you want them to get the support they need, just get them eating more broccoli, getting them eating more cauliflower, because the mineral salts in here not only support the brain, but they help an emotional part of the brain. So this is an emotional support vegetable group that helps people get out of that always seem like they're confused, always seem like they're baffled, always seem like they're bewildered. Even if they're brilliant people, of course, and they have this going on, you want these vegetables. Keep that in mind. These vegetables are also amazing for weight gain issues where you want the weight off. Hyperthyroid, they're amazing for that. Inflammation all through the body. You name it, fatigue, tingles and numbness, ringing, buzzing in the ears, you want these vegetables. Let's go on to another one, celery. Celery, the miracle. Like the heavens have opened up. Like Jesus is coming down from the heavens. Like celery is that powerful. And it's one of the holy four that I really admire. And so it's one of the holy four. It's one of that group of the groups that I talk about in Life-Changing Foods. You guys have seen it. Go to the Instagram page. Go to the Instagram. Go to Facebook. See how many lives are changing from celery juice, 16 ounces of celery juice, because of the nature of the mineral salts, the nature of the blend, which is undiscovered by research and science, totally undiscovered. Food hasn't even been tapped into, you guys, on any level by research and science. Any level compared to what's in it, as far as phytochemicals, mineral salts. Spirit jumps ahead of all that, because by the time they tap into some of that, it's 40 years from now. Where are you going to be in 40 years or 50 years? Okay, I know where I'm going to be in 50 years, so, and I'm not going to be here in 50 years. So the bottom line is I hope I'm going to, but I don't think so. And or 60 years or whatever. So the deal is that we need the information now. The celery is that it holds that. Okay, it's got the keys to the door. Remember at the beginning I was telling you guys, the keys to the door are these vegetables. So let me tell you something. Celery is one of the keys. Builds up the hydrochloric acid. Helps with adrenal fatigue. The mineral salts help with the adrenal fatigue. Helps with anxiety. Urinary tract infections with strep that I talk about. Kidney stones. Dissolves kidney stones. Gallstones, dissolves gallstones. Helps with, dry eyes, Addison's disease, rosacea, lipomas. When people get lipomas, do you guys have any lipomas on your body? The fatty tumors? Helps with cancers like bladder cancer. interstitial cystitis caused by strep, Crohn's disease, colitis, IBS, irritable bowel syndrome, right? Hypoglycemia, hyperglycemia, depression, sleep apnea, yeast infections, which is strep, insomnia, mold exposure. Did you guys get any mold exposure in your life? Better be drinking that celery juice. This is what we're talking about. And emotional support. Get this, okay? Hang on in there. You know how we hold a lot of fear in our gut? Because the minute we get scared, it hits our gut. We hold that fear and then it hangs on if we had an experience or somebody's let us down or something went wrong or afraid of something or we just have some type of weird fearful anxiety. I don't know if you guys have ever experienced that, But if you have, celery juice helps get rid of that emotional issue, meaning that emotional trauma to whatever started that. It supports that function, helps rid that. So we tend to lose the fear in our guts. And we get more of kind of ironclad in the guts instead of having fear and all these butterflies. The nervousness, the sensations when our tummy flips, the butterflies in the stomach. Celery gets rid of that over time. And nobody knows that. You're only going to hear it here on Medical Medium and on Life-Changing Foods. Let's talk about one that I really, really love a lot too. Artichokes. Did you guys have any artichokes lately? Because if you have a lot of them and you have them on a regular basis, which no one does, it can help you with all kinds of different things. Diabetes, reversing diabetes, kidney stones, gallstones, all the calcifications I talked about earlier, where there are nodules in our thyroids, calcifications in our breasts, and everything else. Scar tissue. Artichokes help reverse scar tissue. Viruses like shingles, carpal tunnel syndrome, bone fractures, cirrhosis of the liver. Make sure you listen to this show again. Go back to the archives and take all this down. Hepatitis B, hepatitis A, hepatitis C, which is caused by Epstein-Barr. HIV, the retrovirus. Artichokes are an amazing weapon. Just destroys HIV. Destroys it. Okay. Liver cancer. All the neurological issues associated with Lyme. And if you read my Lyme chapter in my book, Medical Medium, you'll see what Lyme really is in the end. But artichokes are amazing for that. Stomach ulcers, lupus, you name it. I mean, artichokes. But if you have to eat the artichokes. It can't be like, oh, yeah, I had an artichoke 6 months ago. Oh, yeah, I had an artichoke like 8 months ago. No, we got to bring them in, okay? All right, and emotional support from the artichoke. Get this. Anyone dealing with a heart-related emotion, like a heart issue, meaning cold-hearted, or was broken-hearted, or someone is cold-hearted, or someone who's downhearted, bring the artichokes in for that person or for yourself if you're dealing with that, and your heart will lift. You will feel it change. It'll shift the heart chakra. It'll lift everything. It'll ignite sacred healing in that channel of the heart. So remember that, okay? So that's artichoke. Last but not least for today, because we're running out of time, cucumbers. Cucumbers are a fruit, though. But I have them listed in the vegetable section for a reason, because they're disguised as a vegetable. They're disguised as a vegetable. It's the green skin loaded with minerals. It's a secret weapon. You juice your cucumbers. Cucumber juice stops kidney disease, kidney failure, missing kidney problems, meaning like it supports the other kidney, adrenal fatigue on the kidneys, adrenals, helps with the Epstein-Barr, the mononucleosis, the migraines. It goes on, ALS, stroke, you name it, I'm talking about it. It's powerful. Cucumber can do it. And it goes on and on. I mean, I can tell you more and more about cucumber. We're talking anything from itchy skin, hot flashes, if someone has a stagnant liver, like I was saying one time in the other show, all the acupuncturists, they catch the liver problems they see in all their patients. I know because they're telling me. Acupuncturists are telling me, they're saying, hey, Anthony, you wouldn't believe how many stagnant livers and how many messed up livers we got coming in, and they're all heated up and they're all burning up. Yeah, cucumber juice. Cucumber juice is a big deal for that right there. So we want to bring in those cucumbers. So think about that. And on an emotional level, do you know anybody that has a lot of anger? Do you know anybody that has a lot of anger in their life, or they're too irritated, or they get infuriated easy, or disgruntled, or crabby, or cranky, or irritated, or heated up too fast, or they're hostile, or on the edge of that? If you know anybody like that, if you're feeling that way sometimes, juice some cucumber juice, because Spirit has taught me, and I've used this all the time, this emotional lesson, that Spirit has taught me that gets rid of the anger in people. It drops it down by leaps and bounds over time when they have cucumber juice in their diet, or cucumbers, lots of cucumbers in their diet. The anger drops, the frustration drops. It heals this emotional issue, and nobody knows about it until you guys know right now. And thank God you know, because you can help others. And that's all I care about right now, is you guys healing, and your friends, your family, and your loved ones, and the people you care about, and the people you love heal. And that's what I care about right there. Okay? So really important. In the green department, remember greens, bring in arugula, bring in some sprouts. If you can't eat a lot of greens, blend them up in a smoothie a little bit. Do a little bit of a green smoothie in there. Throw a little handful of spinach, little touch of cilantro in your smoothie. Look, take your vegetables one vegetable at a time. I'll stand behind you. If you don't eat vegetables at all, that's okay. Let's just start with one. I'm with you. I'm with you on the ride. Okay, I'm with you on that ride. Don't worry. Get some barley grass juice powder. I like Vimergy. Get Vimergy barley grass juice powder in there. You know, I put a little in there when you don't want vegetables. I put it in my smoothie when I don't have time to eat a vegetable, because I don't have time that day, and I'm just, all I could eat is an apple, which is still amazing because it's an incredible anti-inflammatory food. But what I do is put barley grass juice powder in that smoothie. So if you're somebody who doesn't like a lot of vegetables, but you love a lot of meat, or you're on some kind of diet where it's a lot of animal protein, put in the barley grass. I want to get some vegetables in you guys. Spirulina, Hawaiian spirulina, that's a great replacement because of what it has. Its composition of what it has is nutrients. Wheatgrass juice powder, which I like Vimergy once again. So wheatgrass juice powder, that's another really good one. So think about these when you get a chance. Remember to go to my website, medicalmedium.com. Okay, you can sign up for my free healing path. 18 steps, audios of me giving you information from Spirit to change your life for free. Just for free. Just free. That's it. There's no snag. There's no hook. It's free. LA event. Make sure you get to the LA event for the Light Blast. And, think about getting the pre-order for Life-Changing Foods. We offer all the downloads for, all these kinds of things and all this different stuff. A part of me just wants you to have it so the first day it comes, I could experience that with you. Because when you open the book, your eyeballs are going to pop out of your head and you're going to be like, oh my God. And so I'm just excited about that. Plus the stockage, I really don't know what's going to happen. So maybe you might want to get your name on one of them if you can. So anyway, look, it's about you healing. It's about you getting better. Remember that. You're not a bad person. You didn't make your sickness occur. You didn't make your symptoms occur. It's not your fault. Remember that. You got to keep a landmark in your mind that you're a good person. You deserve to heal. You have every right to heal. Okay? And nothing's going to stop you from healing. You keep that landmark by your side. You hold that to your heart. You hold that to your side, and you don't let anybody break it, and you don't let anybody mess with it, because you're a good person and you didn't create your illness. I promise you that. People get sick for other reasons. It challenges us. It moves us forward. We become powerful, amazing people, and we move forward with our illnesses and our experiences, and we heal from them, and this is how we're going to do it. We're going to do it together. I believe in you. I care about you. The other day in the other show, I was saying I really do care, because I do. I hear it in real time from Spirit, you and what you've gone through, and I believe in you, and I love you. I stand behind with you. Okay? Hang in there. Blessings. Lots of love.